Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV Monday night edition. To my right is Lucas. Down the bottom there is Mitchell. And we're here to talk about the Dream 11 from all the money that we're going to get from the Declan Rice deal.
That we hopefully get. I
Hopefully
was actually debating on throwing something in the thumbnail or title about the stuff that has been going on today. And I've been saying it off stream.
Yeah.
But karma needs to rear its ugly head, in my opinion. I think Arsenal's online community would possibly be blown to smithereens if this did not go through. But the likelihood of that not happening is very, very, very low. But I'll be honest. I think we need it.
Listen, I agree, mate. If it don't go through, mate, I'll piss myself laughing at fucking Arsenal fans. I really will. I'll fucking literally be.
The funny thing is too, right? Is they're just people are, especially Arsenal supporters, are just acting like, oh, if we don't do it, like who's gonna get Rice? I mean, we could easily just go back to City with the bid they gave us, and they pay us in 2 years.
Yeah,
I mean, really, the difference isn't that big.
It was quite big. 15 million is a lot.
It's a lot, fucking, especially to us. I will say that. Right, let's get. I just want to get to this one from Damien. Yeah, shout out for the thumbnail work. Also, big up to Tom, mate. The thumbnails are absolutely ping at the minute. I ain't gonna lie, they're fucking banging. Dream 11 time then, Lucas. We spoke about it the other week. We're gonna do. You got a choice now. You've either got mine, yours, or the man who keeps running off, Mitchell's. Which one do you want to do first?
When he tried sliding back in, when
I
That's too funny.
I'll tell you what. Let's do Mitchell's first.
Yeah.
All right. And real quick, before we start, we're going to go over the parameters. And I want everyone to know this is Alfie's video idea, and it's just funny that he is not here yet. But it is his idea. The parameters of this video. Goodness gracious.
Sorry.
You couldn't have muted your mic. And you didn't even say, excuse me.
I did. I said, pardon me.
He's one grim bastard. Carry on, Lucas.
But parameters. £150 million budget, with the assumption that Rice is sold for 100 million, and then maybe one or two more transfers throughout. And we had a limit to 5 new players. So everyone, we tried to keep it as realistic.
Oh mate, fucking hell, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Pardon me.
Waste, man.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, £150 million is the maximum we're allowed to spend as well.
Fucking, we are losing subscribers as we speak.
Okay.
I just want to say this. We'll start with Mitch first. I want to say this, yeah. Shout out to Tay and WestHamOnline last night. They done a really good space. Very, very good space, I must admit. They handled it very, very well. So shout out to them guys. WestHamOnline.
I personally do not understand the Dan Lawless profile picture thing, though. Personally, I find it a bit weird.
That's the love affair of Dan Lawless, but that's a topic for another day.
I have it on my tabs right now, ready to listen. That space.
Yeah, it's good, man. Very good.
Okay, let's get after it. I guess we will start off with Mitchell's first. Okay, let me pull this up. Who doesn't love Dan Lawless? Okay. Abash. All right.
Here we go.
So, Mitch, you spent £144 million
What's so funny?
150 budget.
What's so funny?
I thought it nothing. If me and Mitch had an absolute, not meltdown, but Mitch was absolutely getting on my tits with his team. But Mitch, go ahead and explain.
Unfortunately, Lucas can't convert pounds, and also
Mitch doesn't know how to do math.
Yes, I fucking do. What is going on with my thing? It's so annoying. My live chat ain't working. There we go. All right. So talk us through my team.
Yes.
Okay. So people need to realise this is a Dream 11 in an ideal world. Obviously, it's got to be like semi-realistic, where it's possible we could get all these players. But this is kind of more on the top end of the spectrum where it's very high hopes. So I'll go from back to front. I've gone for Kyle Walker-Peters at right back because I think with how good Bowen is at tracking back and how good at Kyle Walker-Peters is at going forward, I think that'll be a really good blend. We don't need the best of right backs at defending because you could play Paulinho as Lucas has done on that right side of the midfield, and you've got Bowen to cover as well. And I think Kyle Walker-Peters is a very good prospect. That has been, what's the word? It's someone needs to tap into his true ability, I believe. And it would be about 30 million, whatever, 25 million. And I've gone for Kirkes, a left back, who is a young Hungarian bastard. And he plays for AZ Alkmaar. He's very young. I think he's 18 or 19. Very young and very hot
He
prospect.
didn't play against us, did he?
Yeah, he played in the second leg.
Yeah, Kirkes. It'd be cheap as well. And I think it'd be very good competition. And, he doesn't have to start straight away in a team, but he's a player that I think will be a very shrewd signing and could become a very good player. And if he doesn't turn out to be good, we haven't spent too much money on him anyway. Yeah. Paulinho, I think Paulinho is the best possible 6 out there for West Ham. I don't give a fuck how much we spend. Oh, yeah, there's obviously a limit, but I would do everything in my power to get Paulinho. I think he's an incredible midfielder. We've already gone over the debate. I'm not doing it again. Paulinho is a great player. Milinkovic-Savic, people say it's unrealistic, but
I think it's doable. I think that's doable.
It's doable. If no one's gone and put a bid in yet, he's got a realistic price. We've got Europa League, just got a trophy. If we put a bid in, it could be possible that we could
I think half the battle with a player like Milinkovic-Savic is just showing that you really want the player. I think that's half the battle. If we were one of the only clubs to come in with a bid, we meet Lazio's demands and we monetarily or financially treat him and show him that he's really part of our plans, I think we could get a player like that.
100%. I mean, I'd never thought in our dreams last year we could get Paqueta. And I said Paqueta would be my number one target. And we got him. And Milinkovic-Savic, in my opinion, is on a similar level. So, yeah, I would definitely try and slot a bid in. If it don't work out, it don't work out. But might as well try. And Harvey Barnes, obviously, it looks to be probably the most guaranteed or most likely of signings we're going to make. He would be the perfect left winger for us, in my opinion, and he's the complete opposite of the player that Ben Rama is, in that he's direct and he scores loads of goals. Ben Rama doesn't. He drops deep and hugs the byline.
Those goals he scores are unreal. He
scores bangers. Yeah, he's 2-footed. I just think he'd be a very good sign. He's still young, 24, 25. I think the midfield though, doesn't that make you horny though? Fucking hell, that blend is just
and let's go over what you chose to keep. So you only used 4 out of your 5 transfers, right? So
I chose to keep Aviola in goal. Yeah, I didn't want Fab. A lot of people would say maybe give Fabianski another go, but I would start Aviola straight right in the start next season. I think he needs game time to build up his fitness, his consistency, because when he's been in and out of the team, he's not been able to get a good run of games. And I know that, and we all know, or not all of us, most of us know that he's a very good keeper in there. He was amazing for Fulham a few seasons ago. He was very good when he played in his first season for us. Last season, not so much. But is that due to lack of game time and lack of consistent game time? I think so. But the rest, I think Scamacca as well. I think he may not do it for us. I know he's not a Moyes type of player, but I believe there's loads of untapped potential there with him.
In my opinion,
great striker of the ball.
And I'll say this about Scamacca. In my opinion, I think we should have someone everyone talks about Broja, or let's just say, for example, a striker like Broja who fits the Moyes system. I'd rather start with someone like Scamacca and then bring someone like Broja off the bench.
Yeah, but Izzy's aren't in it. That's the problem with a lot of fans.
Yeah, Scamacca?
Yeah, it's from what I've sort of seen with other things. Listen, I want Scamacca to go on good, don't get me wrong. But Izzy's aren't really with West Ham, or is he homeward bound? Do you know what I mean? Does he want to go home? That's the
Things
problem.
after one season, and he's not really pushed for a move. He's had
Yeah.
like initial talks, but it's been shut down, and he's not forcing. He doesn't seem like he's complaining. Seems like he wants to be here. So and what players don't usually get like unrest after one season. Usually it's a season or two. Usually like 2 seasons where they go, yeah, it's ain't for me, and then they make a move. Not after one season. So
Yeah.
I think this season is make or break for Skamaka 100%. There's loads of potential there. Whether he works out next season will be down to Moyes and the system we play. But hopefully he can stay fit as well. And yeah, that is my dream 11.
I like that left back. The Hungarian geezer who you're on about. I watched him in the second leg. He fucking ripped us apart down that side, didn't he? Let's be honest. And he was pretty good. He really was pretty good. So definitely, I never thought of him as a signing, but I tell you what, he wouldn't be a bad one. He wouldn't be a bad one at all.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say I agree because I really don't remember him, but he's Hungarian. I'm Hungarian. Let's get him in, you know?
Get the man in, 100%.
All right. Now we're going to move on to Mr. Fevers. Him and Mitch actually spent Mitch, how much did it say on the screen that you spent? Was it
144? I will say I went slightly over the budget with my first team I made. I did actually have Luis Openda in for Skamaka, but because I was over the budget, I made a few little tweaks.
Yes. And this man tried to get in a loan or two.
Yeah, well, I didn't fucking realise the criteria, you cheeky cunt.
But now we are on to Fever's Team Fever. Please tell us about it. You spent £146 million. You two rinsed all the budget.
For me,
yeah, why wouldn't you? If you're giving 150 million,
we have to, mate. Yeah, mate. For me, Bella Kocha, I'll start off in defence. Yeah, Bella Kocha for me is a player who's very, very underrated, massively underrated. Southampton just got relegated. 20 years old, German international, I think he is, or German under 21 international. I think you go and get him out of Southampton at a decent fee, he could be a quality centre half. Really, really, really good centre half. The reason why I put it next to Kehrer because they're 2 Germans. I know people say about Zuma, and I can see what Red is saying, Bella Kocha over Zuma, but Zuma gets injured. He gets injured quite a lot. So we've got a bit of a problem. We can't keep relying on Kurt Zuma to do the whole season at West Ham. And we're going to need a young...
This is Dream 11, not the signings.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is basically you've got to look at it that you've got to sort of look into the future and think, will Zuma play every game for West Ham? The answer to that is no. He won't. He just won't play every game. So I've gone for Bella Kocha. I think he's a decent player. For me, Zakaria is a bargain, absolute bargain at 18 million. I think he's a sort of player that we can come in and get in 26, Swiss international. Yeah, for me, absolute no-brainer on that one. Onana's the man. I've called it last year, and I say it again. West Ham need to go out and get this man landed at West Ham. I don't know what happened last year, whether it was to do with wages or West Ham was just penny pinching on his wages or whatever. I don't know. But having Onana in that midfield area would be quality, absolute quality. He can carry the ball. He can go past people. Top quality player. Then, obviously, I'll go up to the attack line, and you got Harvey Barnes. For me, is a statement signing. It's like having Barnes on one side, Bowen on the other. Someone said it the other day about Barnes, Bowen. Barnes and Bowen won't work, and I just don't understand what they see. You've got 2 pacey players, 2 inside forwards on their natural sides. I think Barnes is an absolute steal at like £30 million. And then finally, I've done this the other week before sort of Skamaka come out, and it seems like Skamaka's staying. Yeah. But I would take a punt on Broja all day long for £17 million, which is reported the fee. I know he's just come back from an injury, but sometimes players come back from injuries and end up going on to be really, really good players. Like
to be fair,
alone, but it's better to just loan him.
Yeah, but the problem is with it, would you rather loan him or would you rather take the punt at 17 million like you did with Maxwell Cornet? Like for me, Broja's worth the risk. He's just worth the risk all day long, in my opinion.
With the injury record.
But if you look at any player, if you look at player sort of right. Look at Mikel Antonio, for instance. Last year, he didn't get injured once. Like not once, he didn't get injured. So I think Broja's worth the risk.
But Alfie and Antonio had a 7. No, it was longer than 7 months. Like a 8 month injury.
Now I get what Trojan's saying there. Yeah, Broja loan with an option to buy. You could do that, but if Chelsea are reluctant to give you a loan, I just think 7 or 8. I think you get rid of Danny Ings. I think you bring Broja in. Well, he's younger. He's had an injury, but everyone gets injuries, and I think he's worth the risk. I really do.
Quick side note: all these 11s, really, besides Mitch's, have been done for a week and a half. Just to throw that in there.
Chat, whose team's better, mine or James's? Put it in the chat. We all know.
And we welcome Alfie.
Who suits David Moyes more? Which team suits David Moyes?
I want to know. I want to know what 2 players that ain't going to play after games. If he's saying Kehrer, ain't going to play after games, or Emerson.
So real quick, Alfie, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
We'll start off with Alfie. What are your comments on Fever's Dream 11? What do you like? What do you dislike?
To be honest, if I'm totally honest, I don't
think you need 2 ball carriers in midfield.
I don't like the fullback pairing personally. I like Onana.
Alfie, you'd love my team. Alfie, you'd love my team.
I saw it. I clicked on the video when it was going on.
And he hated it.
I think it's good, but quite unrealistic. That's my problem. Like for David,
it's a Dream 11 for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but it has to suit Moyes, and you've got Scamacca.
No, it doesn't. This is my dream. This is my Dream 11.
No, it's your dream for us.
You can't ruin his dream.
And it's your dream for us next season, and Moyes is managing us next season.
And it is my dream that Moyes plays a style that suits that team.
What is that dream then? Anyway, on to James's. I like Onana. I like Zakaria. I'm not sure if they work together personally, but I think
it's too much of a ball code direct. You need someone a bit like a Palhinha next to Onana or Palhinha next to Zakaria, you know what I mean?
No, but if you had one of them as a natural DM, like or a natural sitter, like if you said Zakaria, you sit and let Onana roam. Like, don't forget, Paqueta is moved as it's a 4-2-3-1 system, so Paqueta could be in there as a third midfielder. I think that's pretty tidy, man.
I am a bit confused. Quickly, James, on the how comes Kehrer snuck in at right back?
The only reason why I put Kehrer in there because I just think Kehrer
ran out of money. That's why.
one I run out of dough. But the second thing is you got Kafal there, you got Ben Johnson, you got Kehrer, and I think Kehrer for me. And the only reason why I've done this, I'll tell you the reason why, is because if I was to have Bella Kocher in the team, you have 2 German players next to each other. Like, and it sort of goes hand in hand. I think Bella Kocher as a centre half, £20 million.
I think he is decent.
I think he's 20 years old. I think it's a fucking no-brainer.
Yeah, I do like him.
So that's the reason why.
He's a good shot, James. He's a good shot.
You got anything else to say, Mitch? I was going to go to you next after what Alfie had to say.
No, not a team. The only thing about a team I'm not a big fan of is I think the full-backs, which is why I changed both of them. But aside from that, it's pretty good. I like it.
I think people aren't going to like my team at all. I've sort of done it to suit Moyes, and I've done it on a low budget to give away some stuff.
So you didn't do it on a 150 million budget that you were given, no?
No. I think, how much did mine come to, Lucas?
I'll tell you in a second. Yours came to, as I get it on screen. Me and Alfie were probably near the. Me and Alfie were close to each other.
I'm definitely going to need to explain mine because
Yeah.
people want to see some of the players. And
let's go to Alfie's next, and we'll leave Lucas.
Alfie spent £104 million.
Right, there you go.
£46 million to spend. Like, why don't you just spend it, mate? I don't get it.
Value for money wise, I think
he's saving it for a rainy day. All right.
Why is Scott McTominay?
Listen.
Gil Kerridge is just fucking signed for Benfica. I swear.
No, it's not official yet. And I've done this a week and a half ago, Mick. You changed yours today.
Go on, Alf. Go.
McTominay and Zakaria, I'd have them swap first of all, and let me explain what I'd do.
Who
I've done
jumped,
it.
sorry?
I'd swap Zakaria and McTominay position-wise. I've got to explain this.
Okay.
I've done my team, as I said. I know people aren't going to like it, but I've done it to suit Moyes. Gyökeres is a perfect Moyes striker. He runs the channels well. He holds the ball up. He's a Moyes striker. To me, he looks like the perfect replacement for Antonio. He is probably going to Sporting Lisbon or whatever it is, but as I say, I think in an ideal world, I would have had him in a Moyes team. McTominay, I've never liked McTominay as a player, just to clear this up, but I can see why Moyes would want him, and I think he would suit Moyes. He's got Souček's instinct of running into the box and arriving at the right time to score goals. He's shown that enough times for Scotland when playing as a right-sided 8. He's also, actually, when he gets the ball in advanced areas that Souček seems to do up the pitch with Bowen, he's actually quite good at that sort of thing, threading the ball out wide and stuff like that. He struggles in defensive areas, which is why I've gone with a triangle. I'd have him in the triangle of Kurt Zouma and Vladimir Coufal because I think both are good defensively and would cover for McTominay's defensive issues. I think in a Moyes team, McTominay would be quite good. He's also quite tall, and I think he'd be a perfect replacement for Souček for all these reasons. Zakaria, perfect replacement for Rice, for me anyway. Cheap, ball carrier, energetic, good defensively. I think he's a very good replacement for Rice. One issue...
You think McTominay's a good replacement?
No,
Zakaria.
Zakaria is a good replacement for Rice, yeah. Left back, I think a few people have gone for him, to be fair, but Kirkes, very impressed with him when I watched him play. I think he's a good young left back. Bit ambitious because I don't know if he's actually better than Creswell or Emerson yet, but I'd definitely buy him. And
how much would you pay for him, Alf?
20 million, something like that. I think I'd pay for him.
And they'd take it, and he would want to come as well.
Yeah.
I agree on that, yeah.
And then the wing. Now, I actually have been saying I don't really think Barnes and Bowen would work as a wing duo, but I've gone for it anyway. I think they're very similar players, very similar, apart from the fact Bowen's better defensively than Barnes. However, I think Barnes is too good to turn down.
Barnes' striking ability is much better than Bowen's.
I disagree, but I think Barnes is too good. Oh, Jared Bowen's a sensational striker with the ball, Mitch.
Mate, Barnes is.
Barnes, I think he's too good to turn down. In an ideal world, I'd have a Said Benrahma type who's good at keeping the ball, but slightly better in the final third. However, I couldn't think of one that was good enough, so I went for Barnes. I think our dynamics will have to change slightly this year. I think we'll be... Last year, we were brilliant possession-wise on the left-hand side because we had Creswell, Rice and Benrahma who are all good at keeping the ball in tight areas. Obviously, we've lost Rice, who is the best player at that, and Benrahma's not quite good enough in the final third to keep there. So I don't know how we're going to change dynamic-wise, but I think we're going to go through the middle a lot more, and that's why I've managed to take Barnes and Bowen on either side. That's
and real quick, before we do any critiques, talk about the people you kept real quick.
Okay. Kurt Zouma and Naif again, I think naturally, as a second year as a centre-back partnership, they're only going to improve. And I think the thing with partnerships in the centre of defence, they need time to learn each other's game, learn each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think it's one of the key areas of the pitch for developing a good relationship. And I think they've started to do that a little bit. And I do like them as a duo. So I've decided to keep them. Vladimir Coufal, right back, I think I was very impressed with him in the last 6 months of the season, and I'd keep him there. As I say, I'd have McTominay on that side, so he's not very good defensively. So I'd like two players in Coufal and Zouma who can cover him defensively, as well as Bowen out wide, who is good defensively too. I've put Areola in goal. Preferably, I'd have Fabianski, but from what I've heard, Areola will be in goal this season. So as I say, I wanted it to be realistic as well as a dream. So I'd have him in there. And then I've kept Paqueta for obvious reasons. He's a sensational player on his day. And I think second season, he's only going to improve. And I think he'll become the focal point of the team this season in terms of being the main player with ball to feet. I think he'll drop into the areas near the central defence a lot more to pick the ball up from them. allowing McTominay to bomb forward a little bit. And that's my team. I think it suits David Moyes, and I think it suits our style of football.
And just a spoiler alert, I also kind of went down the same path, but I can't remember if mine was a bit more ambitious or not. I'm gonna have to pull my mind after we critique.
The only thing I will say on that is the Scott McTominay one. All right, don't get me wrong. I agree with the left back. Mitchell's obviously picked the same one as you. I like that Hungarian kid. I remember he fucking he ripped us apart. And he was their best player for AZ. The Scott McTominay one, just if West Ham was to go out and sign McTominay to go in midfield, I think people would go literally smashing their face off the wall.
Especially after the reported fee for what they want. £40 million for Scott McTominay. I think that is just disgraceful.
Yeah, but
you've got to remember, as much as I'm not a big fan of Scott McTominay, it's undeniable that he's actually a great striker of the ball. He scored a goal against us, actually. It was a phenomenal strike.
I agree.
In the year before.
Yeah.
He's shown enough time for Scotland that he's got an incredible shot on him. So if you get him in the areas that Souček gets in quite often, I actually think he would. I think if you
I can agree with that.
I think if you cover his weaknesses, he's very good at a lot of things that are important for our team. Souček is a bang average player, but he's good in the air. He gets himself in the right positions. And that suited us, especially 2 years ago. Souček looked incredible despite the fact he's an average player. I think if we get McTominay in the right positions where he can get a lot of shots in advanced areas, have the ball high up the pitch and cover his defensive weaknesses a little bit, I think you're looking at a good footballer for this system.
McTominay is one of those players that he seems to look better as a striker than a midfielder, but he plays in the midfield.
Let me put.
I really don't like it.
Right. Let me put this to you. How would you feel if West Ham loaned McTominay for a year with a option to buy, or they have to buy him at the end of the season?
It would have. For me, it's all about value. Like in my honest opinion, I've come around, and I've talked with Alfie about this too. I've also come around a bit to Scott McTominay, but still, the figure for me is important. Like, if we're being honest. 30 million pound. He is getting old. He's actually older than what people think.
How old is he?
He's 26.
He's like just fucking cigar.
Yeah, and
this isn't too bad.
Yeah, but for 30 million pound, I think 30 million pound in world football, it's fair. Like, it's a fair assessment of him. But I still personally wouldn't pay that for his skill set and what we need. So for me, it all has to do to value. But I've come around with Alfie on some things. McTominay, like he does have a very good knack of arriving in the box late. His positioning is very good, arriving late, like Souček in his first season. But everything else, he's a bit shit. Like he is a bit better with like his ball retention. He's probably a little bit of a better passer.
Yeah. They're
probably the same in the air, but I would probably say Scott McTominay may be a bit more athletic in terms of pace.
Yeah. See, Adam's a Man United fan. Yeah, he said it previous in the comments. Yeah, it's a big up, Adam. Yeah, United asking for 40 is crazy. 25 to 30 is fair.
I agree.
I think 25. I think if he's worth the risk at 25, but definitely not 40. Not a chance. He's not a 40 million pound central midfielder. I don't care what anyone says. Just no way. Do you know what I mean? So, he's just not on that one. Lucas, what about your team?
All right.
I haven't spoke about Alpha's team at all.
Go ahead then, Mitch. Sorry.
Thank you. I was just waiting for you.
Sorry, we won't shoot you. We won't shoot you.
All right. I really don't like. I think where games you play against teams that sit a bit deeper, and you're trying to break teams down in a different way instead of just hitting them on the counter constantly, like what Moyes likes to do. You're going to really, really struggle with Zakaria and McTominay in midfield. They're not most consistent of tacklers.
Who did you have?
If a team, I had Paulinho and Milinkovic-Savic.
I don't think that. How does that not struggle?
Because they're much better in possession at retaining the ball.
Are they?
Yeah, of course they are.
I don't think Milinkovic-Savic is that good in terms of retaining the ball.
The only thing with that team is though,
he can pick passes up forward. McTominay will struggle. He's very inconsistent with his passing forward. He's good. He's all right on the ball in terms of picking up and going forward, like Zakaria. But when teams sit back and they swarm us in midfield, McTominay crumbles. He crumbles under pressure, and he has done for Man United a lot. And he gives away silly passes. And you can't rely on McTominay as that bridge between Zakaria and Paqueta, in my opinion, because it's just too.
And do we really have
consistent? I'd rather get someone that's very consistent and proven at doing this at a good level. I feel like we can.
And we don't have a license.
That's fine, but I don't think Milinkovic-Savic is that player at all.
Okay, well, Palhinha's much better at retaining possession.
No, is he?
I don't know about that, mate.
Palhinha's passing stats. I like Palhinha, and I actually think, looking back, I probably should have put Palhinha in this team over Zakaria and spent the extra money. But I think at retaining possession,
then that would work. 100%. But why would you rather have Palhinha in there? It's because it's maybe not retaining possession. Maybe it's just much more consistent. I think if you have Zakaria and McTominay in the same midfield, I feel like one game it could work and the next game it wouldn't. I think it would be very hit and miss game by game. And that's the problem. I think if you wanted to build something as a solid foundation to move forward throughout the whole season, I feel like even James's midfield or my midfield could have a good run of games.
I think Zakaria sits back more than people think.
He does.
With Rice.
He does, but he has a knack of picking up the ball from deep when he's deep and then picking up and going forward.
Yeah,
whereas someone like Palhinha will pick up from deep and then pass it forward instead of running with it.
In my opinion, that's something that he can do. It's something that that isn't necessarily like a part of him. Like Rice can do that, but like as a 6, he never like did that all the time. He could do that when he absolutely needed to. I think Zakaria does sit back quite often, but when he has to pull it out the bag, he can do it. If that makes sense.
I'm not on the on the Paulinho train. I'm just not on that vibe. Like I think he's a very good player, but I just think he's too slow. He doesn't get about the pitch.
Too slow?
For me. Yeah, I think he's ultra slow. I think does he get about the pitch for you, Mitch? Like, is he going to be in the engine room? Because let's be honest,
it's not about slow. Casemiro has been one of the best defensive midfielders in the world for the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different level, though, isn't it? Like Casemiro to fucking him, surely.
We're not talking about the level. We're talking about the speed. The speed ain't an issue.
Right, but
why has he got by far the most amount of tackles last year if he's so slow and can't reach the players?
Because Fulham are mainly defending usually, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Not last season, they weren't.
Like for me, when West Ham set up in the new year, if you have Paulinho in there, he's going to be mainly defending. So what's he like? I want someone to pick the ball up and run with it. I need carriers. I need people who are going to actually fucking get the ball and get up the pitch because we've got too many static players.
Okay, so in an ideal world for me, Milinkovic-Savic or Shaper, if I had a little bit more money, I think an ideal midfield would have been Paulinho and then Onana next to him. Or someone of that ilk that can carry the ball forward or a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
For me, if you had someone like McTominay, it just wouldn't work because he would just be too hit and miss. If you're relying on McTominay to be your sole ball carrier and that bridge between midfield and attack, it's just too hit and miss for me.
The problem is, yeah, I want West Ham this season, for me, and Alfie's team for me is, I don't like McTominay. I think the striker's very good. I think the striker could be a bargain, but then I would rather go with Brojo, who's Premier League proven in my opinion. I think the left back.
I like Brojo, but I just think he and Gyökeres are very similar. I probably think Brojo's slightly better, but I don't think you can buy a player that's just had an 8-month injury and just straight away bring him as your main striker.
I'm not saying. I know what you're saying there. Now I look at it that. If you're going to keep, but he's an investment, though, isn't he? Like £17 million for a centre forward, who's how old's Broja? 23, is he? He's only young.
Less than that. I think 21.
I think like he's 21. So for me, you're buying the potential on him. Do you know what I mean? You're buying someone who's going to listen. If he gets over his injury concerns and basically sorts himself out, he could be that £17 million could be a fucking steal. Do you know what I'm saying? The only thing with Paulinho before we get to Lucas's team, is I think he's a very, very good defensively, but I want someone who's better than that. Because you could say Souček runs around a lot, gets stuck in and throws his body everywhere, but that's all he can do. Like, and that's basically all that Paulinho can do is be a defensive mould. I want someone who can pick the ball up
Paulinho
and
is
do.
much more than that. Much more than what Souček is.
But in what regard, though, Mitch? Because in a defensive aspect, I think he's
Passing.
good. I think he's
His
good.
passing is much better, and his tackling is
He can
10
hit a
times
ball
as good as Souček
too.
is.
Mm.
He's got
It's-
he's
I
much.
don't think-
His first
I think
touch, his
Paulinho is
control with the
good.
ball is much better
Mitch,
than
I think
Souček's.
Paulinho is good, but I do think Souček. I do think we're underestimating some of the quality Souček does add. Not from I know we don't rate him and all this stuff, but he does cover a lot of distance. He does give us that added energy in midfield. I think sometimes the distance he does cover goes unnoticed.
It does.
For
It
example,
does
when
sometimes,
in-
but I don't want it to be sometimes. I want players that are going to perform on a consistent basis. I don't care if Souček runs more than Mo Farah in one game and then has a great game, but then the next 2 games he's really shit. Because I don't want that. I'm sick of that. Because that was our problem last season. Having inconsistent players. Quetta was terrible for the first half of the season, and it was a massive reason why we struggled. Same with Souček.
See, the thing is, like, I just want to get something up here, yeah, what Elite just said, and like, I understand what Elite's saying. James, you can't build a team full of box-to-box midfielders. I understand that, but then you can rotate them around. That's the difference. Like with Paulinho, he's got one attribute, and that's a defensive player. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you had Onana and Zakaria together, you've got 2 players who can do the same job, right? And they can either. Oh, well, I think so.
The best teams in the world have specialist players for specialist positions. Casemiro has been a 6 and he's the best in the world. You don't just want a player that can do loads of different positions.
See, I understand that, but I don't know.
Kante's always been a 6, a very good 6.
I think
to have specialist players. If we don't sign a 6 this season, then we haven't got one at the club.
True.
Flynn Downs would probably be our 6.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Lucas, do you want to get onto your team, mate?
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind that. Okay.
Lucas. Save the best till last.
I think this could be the worst.
Yeah, and you thought wrong. Mine's actually gravy. I spent the least.
Oh, you spent less than me. What the heck?
By a little bit, yeah.
After you battled me for ages to get the price up for the spending.
No. I said to give me the price. He put in all the players. He didn't give me how much it costs, and then I had to go do it.
I said at first, can we do 130? And you were like, no.
No. Yeah.
Well,
right,
lo and behold, this is my team.
It's a good point now.
I spent 101.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put the 0.2, but I spent
Who's that
101 million pounds.
Oh, that's fucking
Balogun. Balogun up top.
Ooh.
Harvey Barnes left wing.
I'm not dealing with Arsenal.
Milinkovic, Savic, and Zakaria in the midfield, and then Livramento at right back.
I like it, Lucas.
Lucas.
I don't think the midfield 2 would
work. Lucas, let me off. Lucas,
yeah,
I'm proud.
Me, so the way I went into it, like I said, I took the same path as Alfie. Really, I did want to make a dream 11, but I wanted to keep it somewhat to the floor a bit. So like Savic for me is kind of like my dream signing, I guess.
101 million. How?
Because Balogun's cheap for me. That's why.
Wait a second.
So, let him land. Let Lucas land on.
Okay, so for me, I'll start with Balogun. I think from what I've seen from Balogun, he just come off a fantastic season in Ligue 1. He scored, 28? 28 goals, and he's off to a hot start with the U.S. men's national team. And he does exactly what I think Moyes loves in a striker. I think he is slightly better than Broja, and he's got the ability, in my opinion, that Broja does not have.
I'm impressed with him, to be fair.
No,
the maths don't add up, Lucas. Unless we're signing Livramento on a free.
I think the maths do add up.
Go on, guide me through. Harvey Barnes, 35, you're saying? 35
Harvey Barnes, 35 million euro on
Savic,
transfer
25.
Market. Savic has been reported for 35 million pound.
Okay, that's 70.
Zakaria has been reported for 18 million euro.
Okay, that's 88.
And then Livramento was 25 million euro.
He's well over 101.
See what I mean?
Fucking don't let Lucas do your accounts. Fuck me.
Nah, I did this right. I definitely did it right.
It's Balogun. No, listen, right? If he's gone on the market, it's Balogun because Balogun's going to be cheaper.
We've actually got Balogun then from reported minus 6 million. Happy days.
No.
Arsenal are paying us 6 million to keep him. Fuck you, what
See,
we do?
now you're making me look this up because I'm not letting you mug me off.
Go on then. Do it live. Do it live.
30 million euro for Balogun. So 30, 35, 35,
It's well
18, 25.
That is definitely.
Well, then you got to
101.
convert. This is pounds. This isn't euros.
Right, Lucas.
Oh.
Lucas. Right. Let's quickly. How
Oh,
much?
Mitch. So what are you gonna say now?
What?
Lucas. How
It's not
much is Balogun?
101.2, is it? It's nowhere near
It's not
101.2.
euros. It's pound.
It's still.
Yeah.
It's still.
It's still not that.
I think you're wrong. I think I've done the math.
Right,
Right.
Lucas.
Right.
Hang on a second.
All
How
right, let's
much
move
is
on from that. It don't matter. Let's just move on.
Right, let's just do.
What are we saying? What do you want to ask me?
I'm going to buy Lucas a calculator. Right, I'll go first. Right.
Lucas, I really like it. I've got no complaints. I like it.
Right, listen, I'm going to go first, and then I'll let you two land after. Yeah. Balogun is a tricky one for me because I think he's a talent, but the money that they want for him is extortionate. Really, do you know what I'm saying? When he hasn't really done it in the Prem, that's the only thing. Zakaria speaks for itself. Savage is a. I think it's a real. I think it can be done. I think if you pay him the money and no one else comes in for the Prem, I think the Prem can attract him. Livramento, I don't know. I thought I remember that goal he scored against us a few years ago, but other than that, I don't know about him really. And obviously
Right,
Barnes
hang
speaks for
on,
him.
Do you prefer him over Kyle Walker Peters, Lucas?
Yeah.
If I had another transfer to use, I would have probably put Kyle Walker-Peters on the left over Emerson personally.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know. For me, Livramento, the value is there. He's younger than Walker-Peters. I know he just came off an injury, but statistically, he was very, very, very good the season before last when he didn't get injured. And I don't know. I just thought he had a really good season, and he's young, and I think he's shown enough that he can step in at his age and do the business.
Sadly, Lucas, you've gone over the price. I've just checked it.
Oh, no.
This team is 158 million euros according to Transfer Market.
No, I'm not going by transfer market because Milinkovic-Savic's reported price is a lot less than his value.
This is combined transfer market and then what's been reported by decent sources.
101 out of.
Well, I'll tell you right now because I'm doing the math because I don't.
But it's the after show. It don't matter right now. I think it's within budget. Anyway,
Savage has been reported for 35 million euros by certain reliable sources.
Yeah,
Balogun's transfer market, Harvey Barnes' transfer market, Zakaria transfer market, Livramento transfer market.
Listen, you've got elite fucking crying, right? and elite's clipping this, so shut the fuck up and let Mitch carry on. Right, Mitch, carry on. Fuck's sake.
Besides from that, I'm actually proud of you. I think people shitting on Balogun. I think he's the right profile of striker that we could do with at the club where we don't have that kind of nippy, gets in between the lines type of striker that Balogun
and for me, a big thing is
compared
he
to
stays
Scamacca
central.
and Antonio.
He stays central all the time. Like
I completely agree.
Whatever that one dude,
he's different.
Whatever that one guy's name is, the one that Alfie had from Coventry City. I do like him.
Gyökeres.
But
it looks like he's going to Benfica now.
No, what I'm saying is I like him as well, but for me, he does like kind of the same thing as Antonio. So like drift out wide, and he can cut in, kind of like Arnautovic used to do. But like I want my striker to stay central and do all of his work in the middle of the park.
And he's a lot sharper than the striker options we've got, which I do like.
So yeah, for me, I just think Balogun, he could be a decent punt for the season he's just come off of, and he's everything Moyes wants, I think. Harvey Barnes, don't need to talk about it. Milinkovic-Savic, I think, is the perfect bridge between Zakaria and Paqueta I think Zakaria is just a good replacement for Rice. I'm not saying he's going to be just like him. No one is. But for the price, I think he's good. And then Livramento, I think, is a very good punt. So, that's me.
Lucas, I like the team a lot. Well done.
Any other questions about players I've kept? Anything
my
like that?
opinion is, I love the Livramento choice from you. I love where you've plucked that one out from because he's a very talented player. Coming off the back of an injury, yes, but at a cheap price, I think. Great addition from you there, Lucas. Now on to the criticisms. I think you might need to go back to math class.
Okay.
The midfield two.
This is coming from the same guy that couldn't add up his team.
Lucas, yours is way off. And by way off, I mean way off.
You don't even know how I did this, so you can't.
Even I don't know how you. I don't care how you did it. It's off.
It's fine. It's fine. But go ahead. Is that your last criticism?
Just admit. Just please admit you've got the price way off.
Mate, I really don't know. It's been a week and a half.
All right, let's move on. Fucking hell.
But I like Balogun.
Emotional damage.
He's emotionally damaged. All you fucking move on and carry on.
I like
What you
Balogun.
saying? Go on.
I think I've not watched enough of him to work out whether he'd suit Moyes' system or not, but his numbers are somewhat undeniable. Obviously, he's playing for US now, so his confidence is only going to improve. And I like his mentality. I like the fact that he wants to leave Arsenal to get consistent game time. I like the fact that he's picked the US to try and become their main striker and lead the line for them. I like it.
True. Well said, Alf. I agree. Alfie, well said.
So overall, I'm not too fussed by it. It's just the price.
People don't know, but I got a plug. I've got a plug.
Lucas, if anyone won the challenge tonight, I would actually say you won the challenge.
Fucking, he didn't win the maths challenge, did he? Fucking.
You didn't win the English challenge.
We'll see. We'll see. I've told you how I done this, so if you can keep going.
I don't care how you've done it. I looked at it straight away and thought, where the hell?
Listen, he's been taking negotiation skills from Edu, mate. Fucking 7-year plan, isn't it?
Not me.
Yeah, you're paying.
Not me. I buy my players immediately.
I know. 100%. Yeah, I might not be able to say the fucking words, but I can count. That's a good start.
Elite asks, Lucas, what's 100 divided by 5?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't.
Right. Listen, before
20 some.
Right, before we wrap this up, because we've got 8 minutes, yeah. Obviously, let's talk a bit about the realistic world that we're going to go back into. Obviously, West Ham haven't made no transfers yet. Declan Rice is still up in the air a little bit.
The Barnes one does annoy me a lot. I don't know why we're holding on putting the bid in.
Yeah, for me, that's one that we shouldn't have to wait for. You should be able to just buy him.
You've got Tim starting in now. Just fucking make a bid tomorrow.
Yeah, but are you shocked though that we haven't done anything yet? Because I'm
not. I feel like we could have put an inquiry in or had preliminary talks or put one bid in.
Yeah,
but for it to be 3 weeks since the window open or whatever.
Do you know pre-season starts?
Not a single bid. Huh?
Do you know what? Pre-season starts next Monday, and then 5 days after that, they go to Australia.
Do you know what? Can I say something quickly? And this might be a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that Sullivan is the one delaying the transfers completely. I think Moyes wants to get the players in early, but Sullivan's waiting for this installment. That's why he wants the money up front. I think all of our budget is going to be the Rice transfer, and that's why he wants so much money up front, because Sullivan's going to leave in 18 months. That's why he wants the instalments over the first 18 months.
I agree.
Rice, because if he wants to leave, and if he leaves before the last instalment comes for Rice, he'll have to spend more of his own money on the budget and won't be able to take more at the club. very cunning from David. And I think at the moment, and I'm one who actually defends him at times and thinks he gets a little bit of unfair stick at times. I think at the moment he's getting too much praise. I've seen actually a lot of praise for him on social media. I don't get it.
Yeah, the only thing I will say on that, because I fucking despise the man. Right? I'm not even afraid to admit that. But I think the way he's pulled Arsenal's pants down over this fucking deal, I think it's been brilliant. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, we haven't got the money yet.
We haven't got the money yet. Don't get me wrong, but he's doing everything in his power to make sure he gets the best deal. Like, and whatever
the best
that
deal
is.
for him, maybe, yeah.
Well, it is for the
honestly,
club, though, isn't it?
Any normal club should just accept what Arsenal have offered. Honestly, the instalments they've already offered are beyond good enough. We're just being extremely tight, and Sullivan's doing it for himself. Will it work? Yes, because Arsenal need to buy him at this stage, but normally I think it's a bit ridiculous what he's doing. And if they pull out, I don't think any other club will come in for him. And I actually think that would be bad.
And then it will have turned into a disaster class by Sullivan.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, though, Alf, and like to say it's stalled and it basically then it just didn't, like the deal collapsed, then where the fuck does that leave us this summer with transfers?
In a difficult situation because we have no money to spend. We'll pretty much have a similar team to last season, but obviously we would still have Rice, and he'd have a year left on his contract. He'd go for about 60 million next year. Sullivan wouldn't want to invest more into the club, and we'd be in an awful situation because we'd be leaving. We'd be losing our best player at a cut price, our captain at a cut price, and we'd have to replace him for about 20 million with not a lot of money left to spend on the rest of the squad, which means we deteriorate and we'd remain in the position we've been this season, which is battling relegation. We need to sell him now. We need to get the maximum money so that we actually have to spend, and we can't give Sullivan an ultimatum.
I agree. I really do.
Well said.
I actually do agree on that. I'm actually quite nervous about this year. I don't know why. I'm seeing links with players who are just, fucking on the last year of their contract. Safal is West Ham have extended his contract, for another year because they forced it.
2 years technically.
But for me, I agree. I think Rice will go. I think he will get done. I just hope West Ham have got this. Have got a plan set in
I wonder
stone.
when.
Yeah, but you know what though, Lucas? I'm going to be honest. Right, when you sort of go through everything, you go through players at this club who could be going. Yeah, you go through contracts at this club. Like Jared Bowen needs a new contract. Pablo Fornells, for how much I don't rate him amazing like other fans do, he's got 1 year left. So why has he not been given a contract, or why has he not been given a decent contract to keep him at the club, which is a bit of a problem. So we have got problems, and we need to sort this out. Like, how can I put this to round this off? If Rice was sold and West Ham bringing 3 players at once, like bang, 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 I'd be over the moon with that.
Yeah.
But this is West Ham United, and they just don't fucking do that. They just never do. Well, I mean, they try and penny pinch to the rim. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a concern. It really is. I will say that. Well, any thoughts on that, Lucas, before we go?
No, I think what everyone else has said is pretty much how I feel. And I do know where I went wrong, by the way. So I didn't add it up wrong.
You did.
I know where I went.
Where did you go wrong then?
Livramento, I saw from a decent source, was reported for 15 million euro, and that's where I went wrong. I made him 25.
No, because it's still way off.
Do the math.
Still way off.
No, Alf, grab your calculator right now. I'll school your ass right now. I'll school your ass right now.
Listen.
Go on then, Lucas. School me. Go on then. List me off the price.
Are you ready?
Go on then.
Livramento, 15 million euro.
Okay, wait 1 minute. Let me get my calculator out. And make sure these are realistic, because if you've just cut them all down, then I'm going to be thinking...
It's the 101.2 euros or pounds.
Yeah.
It is euros. 101 pound, but I added up in euros first and then done the conversion.
Okay.
15 million euro for Livramento, 18 for Zakaria, 35 for Savage, 35 for Barnes, and Balogun was 30.
30 euros.
133. It says 133 on. on the calculator. So what's the converter saying? Wait 1 minute.
He's still wrong.
What are you saying, bro? You've done this wrong.
133 euros,
It's
million
still
euros.
114.
It's
Still got it wrong. Lucas,
It's 114.35. So he's still over about 12 million. Do you know what I mean? I might not be able to speak, but I can fucking
you're right.
count.
I give up. I'm just not a math guy, apparently. It's
Well, anyone who's new to the channel, please do subscribe and bring a calculator for Lucas.
Please.
It would help. You know what I mean? But yeah. Right, we're going to wrap it up there, gentlemen. Been a thoroughly
I'm still
entertaining.
under 150 million pound though, so I win half the battle.
Yeah.
And Lucas, I actually still think you won the best team.
I ain't saying nothing, honestly. Fucking, I don't want to be banned or anything. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't lost
fuck
the war. Won a battle though.
Listen, we need elite. We have a good laugh on this channel. I think you can gather. You know what I mean? We might not be able to count or spell or anything, but fuck it. You know what I mean? It's freedom and all that. Right. Oh, dear.
He's a different breed, that man. He's a different breed.
Yeah, I know, mate. Right. Yeah, we wrap it up there. Thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell and all that. We'll be back during the week to do something else and talk about West Ham. Hopefully we'll get some fucking signings at this club. I will say that. So, yeah, I mean,
and a math
at the end
tutor.
of the day, it's just, yeah. And a math tutor.
I need to go back to school.
Back to school for Lucas. Yeah, I mean, and so David Sullivan's go back to the bank and get some money out for us all. Anyway, from me to you, take care of yourselves. Peace.
I made it to.
You thought you would ended the live.